Hey there, comic book friends, I'm Travis. It's time for an edition of What View, where I talk about what's going on with me in my world of comics. How's it going, everybody? Wednesday, new comic book day. Yay, I don't have my comic books. That's okay, though. I'll get them on Friday. Anyway, what's going on? Not a lot. Let's see, what do I want to talk about? One of the things I want to talk about, today ended the Secret Wars event. As most of you probably know, I have not been reading it. I heard good things about it most of the way through. I'm starting to hear some about the ending of it, but we'll see. I kind of had planned on picking that up in trade at some point. Not that I really am interested in reading a event book, but I heard good things, so I kind of wanted to check it out. That being said, Tom Verhoot, who is a person who does lots of stuff with Marvel and whatnot, behind the scenes kind of a guy, has basically said that Secret Wars is the last Fantastic Four comic book. Now, I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan. I've really tried reading it a couple different times. But it holds a significant spot in the world of superhero comics. It's like one of the first team superhero books. And it's just kind of been around for forever. Now, should everything stick around for forever just because it's been around forever? No, probably not. But it just seems silly that we don't have a Fantastic Four comic book. It doesn't make any sort of sense to me, other than what we always keep talking about. The fact is that who owns the movie rights, and as the parent company, Disney's in charge of all that stuff. They don't want to be producing content that at some point they can't change into a movie or make more money off of somewhere else, or heaven forbid they produce this comic book and somebody read that comic book and then go watch the turkey of movies that have been made in the name of Fantastic Four. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. I think it's a shame. Now, how long is that going to last? I have no idea. But just to have somebody from the upper echelon saying that, pretty much confirming Fantastic Four is done, seems to be kind of a shame to me. That's just kind of boo as far as that goes. Marvel, speaking of Marvel, also Marvel just put out a big ad, Dead No More. This big black void with white letters that say Dead No More on it. I guess we're all supposed to be excited or take guesses as to what that means. Is the regular Logan Wolverine back? Seems odd for that to be the case. I personally don't know what else would be. I don't know who is dead right now. Character-wise, that they would be bringing back, that would warrant that kind of billing. I have no idea. Yeah, I can't think of anything. But I don't know. If it's tied to an event, I don't care no more, kind of a thing. So, but I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm curious from a purely spectator vantage point. I'm curious as to what that's about, clearly. So we'll see. I am almost done reading Two Brothers. I was hoping to actually have it finished so I could talk about it on this video. No, not quite have it done, and I wanted to get something put out this week, and I didn't want to power read the last 20-30 pages or so and miss some of it. I'm really enjoying it now. Maybe some of you remember from last week I said that I had started reading it. Then there was a character in it that bothered me so much I wasn't sure I was going to be able to finish reading it, kind of a thing. Powered past that point, and really, really enjoying it. That character's still awful, but it's kind of settled into its own awfulness, I guess. I am enjoying that. Hopefully next week I'll talk about that. I don't know if I'm going to get to last week's books as far as talking about them in my own videos. I talked about them quite a bit on the roundtable last week because it was just me and Mike, me and Sergeant America. So we got plenty of talking in, just the two of us. Hopefully this week's roundtable, which of course will be on Saturday, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern Time here in the States. Hopefully we'll have some more people on this week, talk about some of the books that come out this week. I'm not even 100% sure what all I have coming out. I'm pretty sure it's a pretty hefty pile, but yeah, What else? Of course, also if you're here in the United States right now, there's this huge lottery going on. We're at like a billion, 2 billion.3, something like that, worth of a lottery, which is crazy. If you were to collect it all in one lump sum, it's like $880 million. What would you get with that if you were to win that? You know, sky's the limit comic book, no price tag involved, kind of a thing. I hear right now, I haven't actually gotten to look at the details, but I hear somebody is selling an entire Marvel collection, all collected together. My understanding is this is from Fantastic Four #1, clear through. Would you buy that? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? In single issues to own all. I mean, you'd have to have a huge, of course, I guess if you won, you know, $1.2 billion, you could probably afford to have a house big enough to fit all of said comics into. I have no idea what the count is on that. It has to be just a crazy amount of comics, you know. Can't imagine how many long boxes worth that is. But yeah, you know, that's the kind of purchases I would be tempted to buy. If I had that kind of money, I was going to buy, you know, comic books. I don't really have, everybody talks about their holy grail. I don't really have a particular holy grail book. There's not, oh my gosh, I would love to, I mean, there's a lot of cool books I'd like to own. And I have no goals to get one in particular and whatnot. Most of those comic books are far enough out of my price range and we get into the hundreds of dollars, I'm more inclined to want to buy original art over over the comic book itself. So yeah, when it comes to buying back issues, I'm kind of a cheap bastard and don't want to spend large amounts of money on any you know, book for that matter. But yeah, that's how I'd be inclined to want to shop. Something I would do that I want to do, I've had this kind of idea for a very long time, and I thought it would make an amusing reality TV show. But I don't know even if I had the money that I'd actually want to do that, because I don't really want to be on camera all the time. But so I live on the western side of the United States. I don't live completely on the coast in the state of Washington, but anyway, I live on the west side of the coast. I always thought it would be interesting to fly to the East Coast, buy one of these massive comic book collections that are out there. I mean, there's, you know, there's these massive comic book collections sitting around to be purchased, you know, for, you know, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 kind of a thing. And I'd love to go and buy one of these things that have, you know, Silver Age comics in it and that sort of stuff, and then see if I can travel across the United States back home with the comic book collection without spending any money. Everything paid for by the comic collection. So I would take the comic collection and I would start from wherever I got it at, somewhere on the East Coast, and I would drive across the United States, trading comic books for money or whatever to purchase my gas, my food, my sleeping, you know, whatever. Take that collection, thump that collection, bargain and wheel a deal with people to see what kind of I could get to move myself forward. I don't know, maybe it'd be really boring to watch. I think it'd be a fascinating journey, and that'd be something comic book oriented that I would be tempted to spend money on if I were to win this, you know, crazy ass lottery. What would you do if you had that kind of money to spend comic book oriented? Build yourself a house, have comic books? Me and Mike on last Saturday on the round table were joking about, you know, being buried in a long box, you know, basically a industrial sized long box made to be buried in, that sort of thing. But anyway, fun to dream. What would you do? I'm just curious. I don't have a lot else. I'm going to keep this short because I don't have a lot else to talk about and whatnot. No books or anything like that in particular. Hope to see you on Saturday. Hope to see you in the comments. Speaking of comments, I'm going to get off this video here, and while it's uploading, hopefully I'm going to reply to those people who have commented to me recently, because that's all part of the new thing. Got to make sure I'm talking with y'all because I want the interaction. That's the cool part about this whole thing. And I have a metric ton of videos to watch. It seems like more and more videos are being produced all the time. And I keep finding new people to follow on YouTube that are putting out some great content. So yeah, till either later this week or the weekend. I'll see you around.